All right, let's see. All right, so they already brought up, for those who missed, Max Fried is set to still put on the pinstripes. I thought he wasn't going to be because of medicals, but they brought that right up. Let's see what else they have to say. Yeah, they're talking about Fried again, thank God. It's always interesting about the offseason. Sometimes the trades that get executed are with the players whose names you have not previously heard. But yeah, so they're saying that the Williams trade was right out of left field. No one thought it was going to happen, which is true. I didn't think they were going to trade for Williams. I was pleasantly surprised when that happened. Yeah, so he's a two-pitch pitcher. He has a fastball and he has that changeup. The changeup's called the airbender. That's his pitch. It's nasty. It's really nasty. Yeah, so they're saying that, the thought with this was they want to have someone who can kind of lock it down. Obviously, Clay didn't really do his job last year. He didn't really lock it down much. So hopefully, Williams can be a guy that will do that for them, which is the hope here. Comments, you can drop a comment in if you would like. Follow me at Yankees Content Central on all platforms. Let's see what else they have to say. I'm more interested about what they're doing on the offensive side and not the pitching. I think the pitching's pretty set. It's the offense I'm worried about. All right. So Devin Williams was the NL Rookie of the Year in 2020, two-time All-Star, two-time NL Reliever of the Year. He strikes out almost 40% of the hitters he faces, which is awesome. He's 30. He's a righty from St. Louis. He grew up in St. Louis. He came from Milwaukee. Cashman, from his meeting on Friday, which we went over on the stream Friday. There's a lot of soft contact, a lot of swing and miss. So one of the big things that they missed in that bullpen last year, there wasn't that strikeout pitcher. Like Holmes got the soft contact. I'll give him that. Holmes gets a lot of things, and I certainly am not a Holmes defender. I couldn't stand him. From opening day till the last day he pitched, I thought he was awful. In the playoffs, he was fine, for the exception of that one game in Cleveland. I didn't see it with him. Part of it, though, was the soft contact would get through because the infield defense, aside from Volpe, was awful last year. And that's Volpe's only, quality from what I've seen so far of him. And I do like him. But, if they're trying to really shore up the infield defense here, there's at least two infield spots, first base and one of either second or third open. That should be able to be combated. I would like them to get a third baseman, but I'm sure Curry's going to say some options. I think Blue Jazz second. But Cashman's saying they want to make the best team on paper they can so they can go out and win. Let's see. Okay, so this is a typical Cashman thing. He wants to make the most out of the offseason and not have necessities at the trade deadline. That's such a typical Cashman thing. He never, even when there is a necessity, he doesn't do it. For the Jazz was probably the best trade deadline we've had ever in years. This bullpen's going to be nice. When Loiza's healthy, who they signed Jonathan Loiza back to a one-year deal with a club option for a second. You got Luke Weaver. They have Ian Hamilton, Jake Cousins, Loiza I mentioned, Mark Laird Jr., JT Brubaker, Andreas Gomez, Clayton Beater, and Scott Efroth in that bullpen. Brubaker and Efroth are in the minors currently. On the minor league roster, not that 26 man. They're on 40 though. Williams had 14 saves and 1.25 ERA in 22 innings, 21.2 innings. he was hurt. He had like a little fracture, stress fracture in the lower back. So they're hoping that, obviously he's healthy all season, because if he is, he's lethal. I know most Yankee fans probably only saw when he was bad against the Mets in the playoffs. His ERA in 3 appearances in the playoffs is 23. That's not ideal, but that's a very small sample size. And, you hand him off to Matt Blake. Matt Blake make that ERA very low. He did not give up a home run on the changeup in the regular season. If he hangs that, and he did hang that changeup once to Alonso. I don't know if that was a home run in Yankee Stadium. I really didn't look. I don't care to look really yet. I definitely will. On Savant, but I'm excited. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be really good, and his stuff is really nasty if he's in command. Yeah, they're talking about what I just said, the change-up dives. It's the nasty, nasty pitch. I showed some highlights on here last week. I'll get this. I'll get that right after they're done. So, Williams is up there pretty much to make the hitter uncomfortable. If he makes them uncomfortable, they're going to swing and miss. It's awkward swings, awkward misses, and that's kind of the point of having a closer like this. So they just compared him to Trevor Hoffman, the best right-handed changeup. My dad, I literally said to my dad the other night, I'm like, look, he's not Mariano. No one will ever be, but he's pretty damn close. Because he's very good. He's a changeup guy like Canely. He throws it a lot. He threw it like 60% of the time. Let's see. Like they're showing, if you're watching it on Yes, like I am in the background, they're showing clips of him. I mean, so what this does is now this gives Weavers, this pretty much just be your game 6 or 7 innings long. Because Loiza's going to be locked down, Weaver, if he's on, is going to be locked down, and Williams is going to be locked down. So this is going to be huge. You could probably, and this is what Curry's saying that. Yeah. See, Luke Weaver's the kind of guy, he doesn't care where he's put, and that's what they're saying right now, which I think is great. You have a guy that doesn't really care where he's put, which is awesome. Yeah. Like, this isn't going to be a Clay Holmes experience anymore. This isn't going to be like Aroldis Chapman anymore. This guy is better than either one of them. Chapman was good because he was a lefty. Devers owned him. But I've always said, I feel like for whatever reason, Red Sox hitters own Yankee closers, and Yankee hitters own Boston closers. I don't know why. It just feels like it's always like that. We own Papelbon. As much as people don't like to hear it, they own Mariano. They used to kill him. It's not like Poppy used to kill him. Baratek used to kill him. So, we got Papelbon, we got Kimbrel, we got Kenley over the summer. They got Holmes a couple times. For whatever reason, those two sides, they just hit each other's closer. So it's going to be interesting to see, this is a guy that they probably haven't seen before because he's out of the NL Central. It's going to be very interesting to see, and I'm curious to see what it's going to look like at Yankee Stadium. They're talking about Nestor being sent over there and like the thank you to Nestor. I'm going to miss Nestor. He was actually very good. I liked him a lot, and I wish we could have kept him, but you know what? You got to give up what you have too many of to get something that you don't have enough of. If we didn't have a closer, we had too many starting pitchers. So to give up, a quality pitcher who you probably don't have a position for, Marcus Stroman, I don't know what they're doing with him. I think they're probably going to dump him somewhere. I'm very confident right now that they're going to dump him off. But Brian Cashman's like, we don't know what his role's going to be. Well, that could also be that you're confident in him, so some other low market team should be confident to take his money. So I don't know what is happening with Marcus Stroman. I would like to see him go. I think they need to do a little bit better. So the rotation, yes, has it up on the screen now. Cole, Fried, Rodon, Heel, Schmidt, Stroman. Now they could do a 6-man rotation. That wouldn't be a bad idea, because that gives Cole an extra day of rest, which could help him in his injury history. Yeah. Yeah, so Flash is saying right now this rotation's like solid. I take this rotation over any of them. They're very good. And an AL executive said last week they're scared of this Yankee rotation. It's so strong right now. No rotation is as good. They're showing Fried highlights right now again. They're showing him strike out Judge and Stanton. That's pretty good. I could strike out Verdugo, all right. He wasn't really that great this year, Verdugo. He is very good. I'm excited for Fried. They're trying to get pitchers. He's not going to strike everyone out, but he's going to give up ground balls. And, like they always, lefties play better at Yankee Stadium than right-handed pitchers just because of how they play. And we have 2 lefty starters, which, that's fantastic to have. I know we had 2 last year, but Fried is a better lefty option than Nestor for sure. And it's nice to have that at any point, no matter where you are, at home, on the road. It's going to be great. He had the second most ground ball percentage, 59% of ground balls, only second to Framber Valdez of the Houston Astros, who has 60.8 ground ball percentage. All right, so they're going to commercial break here for a minute. So I think when they come back, they're going to talk about offensive options. So obviously, I don't know if they're going to bring it up. I should probably wait for them to bring up stuff. They're showing Bellinger on the screen now, so I'm sure they're going to talk about him. I read a report maybe 2 hours ago. Curry said they're going to talk about the bats. I read a report maybe about 2.5 hours ago, something like that, about the Bellinger trade. Kenny Rosenthal of The Athletic had something to say on this. I actually trust him with stuff. He does have industry sources. For rumors and stuff, I trust him. I don't if he breaks stuff immediately, but he pretty much knows, and he's in the know. So what he thinks is happening. He said that the players who are going are agreed upon. Whoever's coming here, whoever's going there. We don't know who those are. We know Bellinger is coming here. Now, I think the Yankees were trying to say, like, okay, cool. If you don't want to take on as much money, we'll throw in more prospects. If you throw in Nico Horner, throw us back a couple bucks, but we'll throw in Nico Horner, so at least we get a second baseman. That we don't know if that's final yet. I think that they should throw in Nico. I think Nico Horner would be fantastic as a leadoff hitter, as your second baseman. I think that's the move that you've got to make if you're the Yankees. If the Cubs are willing to deal him to you in the same trade as Bellinger, I don't care how many prospects. If you need to send, I know LeMahieu's name was actually thrown around. I don't know how true that was. That wasn't from Rosenthal. That was from someone else. I forget who. I think a Cubs reporter said that they could maybe see something where LeMahieu goes there to shed some of our salary to make it a little bit more comparable. I could see that if they're throwing in Horner. I would love for them to throw Horner in, and then you make it a 2-deal package. I don't care about the prospects it's going to cost, because then you pretty much need a first baseman or a left fielder. If they're going to get Warner and Bellinger, then I would look more towards the first base market, whether that's Carlos Santana, whether that's Christian Walker, you re-engage in negotiations with him, or, I didn't really think about it much, and I've thought about it more over the weekend. Pete Alonso, and I'm sure they're going to mention him in a minute here. Pete Alonso's a good option. So here they come. They're back. Let's see what they have to say. All right. No, we hit 100. Thank y'all for all your support. We've hit 100 on the stream. All right, so Brian Cashman said they had conversations with Houston. Some people said they offered Heel. Some people said they didn't. Obviously, Tucker went to the Cubs. Jim Crane didn't want to trade with the Yankees. It pretty much came down to that. Even if they offered Heel, I don't think they would have gotten the deal done. But we'll see what Curry has to say on that.
Brian Cashman not giving it specifics in that Zoom call, but we can report that the Astros were interested in the Yankees. He just won the Rookie of the Year, won 15 games. The Yankees had a 3.5 ERA. And just as important, I guess, has 4 more years of control. He can't be a free agent until 20.
So they didn't want to give up the 4 years of control. Okay, so the problem was they wanted too much. Yeah, so I agree with that. They asked for Lombard Jr. and Heel, and the Yankees said absolutely not. Because that's just, you're giving up too much prospect capital, and Heel has 4 years of control left. You can't give that up. Now, if in 2 years something came up where, they want to trade for, I don't know, whoever's going to be a big free agent in 2 years, or a big trade candidate in 2 years that can help the team, maybe then, but now you can't do that. No. Yeah. Well, they need to find a way to score runs. They need to make offensive moves. That's getting me worried right now. So we're talking about the first base market now there.
Now, I think there's a much higher ceiling with Heel, especially when you talk about the trajectory of this season last year.
So they think Heel's going to be a lot better this year. Heel was very good, for the exception of the month of July. Like June to July, like mid-June to the end of July, a month and a half there, he was awful. Oh my God, it was like bad after bad. That one Baltimore start where Soto couldn't catch the ball. Oh, shit, whatever. He couldn't catch a ball and left. I've already told my Met friends, like, get ready for him not to be able to catch balls in, like, big spots. And they're like, you're out of your mind. I'm like, you just watch. Because if he catches that ball, he probably gets out of the first inning without giving up that home run. And that's a different game outcome. Yeah. So they're saying he needs to pitch better. What he needs to do is he needs command. And it's easier said than done. I'm not a pitching coach. I'm a college student. I'm not a pitching coach. What he needs to do is learn to throw strikes and not balls. Because what he does is he walks everyone, and then that's just ineffective. Yeah. They're saying he's going to get better and better and better as he matures. I agree. I think he's going to be fine. I have no gripes. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be just good. Okay, so they put 4 first base options on the screen. Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, Carlos Santana, and Paul Goldschmidt. Ugh. I don't know if I like those options. I like 2 of them, 3 of them. I don't like Goldschmidt. I don't really love Walker. I'd rather Santana or Alonso. I think Alonso's the option. Okay.
and they're just trying to determine which of those options best suits them. We talked about Walker Bob when talking to Yankee executives.
This is interesting.
They did like his defense. They like what he was able to bring offensively as well. He's 34 years old, still.
They didn't love the age factor with Walker, which we know.
Hearing about the first base market is some of the free agents are asking for more in terms of years and finances that maybe the team can develop. So in that spot, you potentially wait flash if you're one of those teams, or Fox and you reach into the trade market. And in that trade market, you can find it out. We've kind of mentioned.
All right, so now they're saying the trade. All right, they're going to talk about Bellinger. This is the one I want to hear. I want Bellinger bad. I know people are like, I want him bad. I've wanted him for a while now. Hey, we have 24 available. I would give him 22 just for shits and giggles. Oh, this is him stealing a base. I didn't know he could steal. Me too. That's him taking Rodon into the second deck. I want to hear what Curry has to say.
Yeah, we talked about dreams during this show. You can dream on that and how that bat or how that bat would play at Yankee Stadium. And also Flash, we put together the pieces that the Yankees
they dream of having this bat in the stadium, which I think so too.
Discussions between the Yankees and the Cubs.
All right.
Bellinger has 2 years and $52.5 million left on his contract. The Yankees think he's a really good player. They don't think he's a player that they would be willing necessarily to go to that salary level. So I'm sure that the talks will be ongoing, and the fact that the Cubs have added Tucker, they probably need to shut it out.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are obviously aware of that.
So
you let these discussions play out.
So Curry said the Yankees are letting the discussions play out. All right, so he said that the talks are ongoing, which is good. So neither side's backing out. He said what Rosenthal actually said. The Cubs now have too many outfielders, too many cooks in the kitchen. They need to shed money. No other team has contacted the Cubs for Bellinger. No one has. The Yankees are the only ones. If they want to shed money and they're so desperate to get rid of him, it's either Yankees or bust. They don't have a choice. It's going to come down to, are they going to want to come down in price or not? And you know what? The Yankees and Brian Cashman as well. He's a good player, Bellinger. That is a lot of money for one player. It's a lot of money for Bellinger. I also think, they're looking at his numbers from last year. They got to look at the full numbers. Someone just said something. So there's still an obstacle in negotiation. They're going to try by Jack's tone, apparently. People are picking up on things on X. And they're saying that, it's probably more realistic that it's a first base trade candidate. I'm sure they're going to talk about that when they come back from commercial, whether that's Nathaniel Lowe, whether that's Josh Naylor, one of the Naylor brothers, the real fat one, in Cleveland. And I don't want him. But, I mean, he's just – I feel like he's the classic Yankee villain, though. Josh Naylor, I really do. I feel like he's always been a Yankee villain. Since all that stuff went down 22 with the rocking baby around the bases on Cole. I don't know if I want that guy in my clubhouse. Even though he'd hit a lot of home runs, they'd almost double. Actually, looking at Savant, his home runs would very much so skyrocket in Yankee Stadium. And he's got some wheels. But I'm sure they're going to talk about things. I think a Bellinger trade is likely. I think the Cubs know that they have to that they have to trade shed salary. I also think because trade talks have regressed in the past 24 hours, that now they know who's going. That's from a reliable source in Ken Rosenthal. They know who's going. They're just finalizing financials, is what was said. So I think that there will be a trade. And that's because they know they have to shed money or else they can't afford anything for the rest of the offseason in Chicago. All right, they're talking about Willie Adonis for some reason. Maybe they're trying to talk about what other position players might get. If you didn't know, Adames went to the Giants, 7 years, $182 million. He is going to wear number 2 because he's a Jeter fan. The Yankees apparently had interest in him, but he signed before Soto, so they didn't know what was available where. There's him taking Severino deep. When, that's for 2023. Severino pretty much had batting practice in 2023 for half of it. Let's see what else they say. Yeah, so they're saying Buster Posey approached that with aggression. Okay, cool. I don't know why this isn't Giants on. So let's talk about. I want to hear what the Yankees have to say. I don't care about the San Francisco Giants, even though I did say last night and I predicted to my dad that the Giants are going to sneak into the wild card and cause havoc out there in the NL West. They're going to give the Dodgers a run for their money. Everyone thinks the Dodgers are just the super team. Buster Posey wants to win and knows what it's like. So watch them. And now they're talking about Corbin Burns. Especially coming into free agency, he was a top free agent pitcher out on the market. We talked about San Francisco. So, I mean, I don't think the Yankees are in on Burns at all. I really don't. I think he's going to San Fran. I don't know why we're talking about him. I'm not sure he was walking around beside that beat up on catcher. He was very polished, very ready to go. Buster Posey is the guy who got broken at home plate. He's beat up and he's on the track. He was ready to rock. The hair looks good. Everything looks strong. Oh, this is pathetic. This is pathetic. Drop a comment if you have any questions about things that probably answer stuff. If you're joining now, thank you for joining. It's the most I've had in a live stream. So thank you all for the support. They're going to talk to Carlos Rodon in a minute. What I'm gathering, the market's at a standstill. We haven't had like a significant transaction in like days. Probably since the Tucker trade on Friday, we haven't had a significant transaction. I think, winter meetings are now over. So teams are trying to figure out what the plans are and getting deals done with players. Now, I think, apparently the Yankees line up very well with Texas to get Nathaniel Lowe. Who has something where? Let's see. Nathaniel Lowe would be a great player for the Yankees to have. Cousins. I'd probably start with Jake Cousins for Nathaniel Lowe, as someone just mentioned on X. Yeah, this is the worst part of the winter when the stove is frozen. The stove's not hot. The stove is very cold. This is the worst part where everyone's just waiting. Everyone's just waiting right now for a move to be made, for someone to make a transaction. I think it's probably better that I don't know what they do. I really don't know what they do. To be honest, I feel like the Yankees are waiting on Tucker. I mean, not on Tucker, on Bellinger. I want Bellinger. Not enough to stall the whole offseason to get him. They need to make a deal, and I know the Cubs are the ones being stubborn. I don't want Yandy. I know he was an option today. I don't want him. Not for what they want for him. I don't want him. I really think they need to get this Bellinger deal done, and they need to do it really quickly because the Cubs off season is being affected by it now, and the Yankees off season is. The Yankees, if they can get Bellinger, can then he can play left field. He can also play first base. So then, what's cheaper and what's more attainable, a left fielder or a first baseman? And then you go from there. I think probably a first baseman, and then you need an infielder. All right, let's see what else they say. All right, they're talking to Rodon. This is where nothing else of substance is going to happen. So from here, I'm going to kind of wrap up for a second. I think they're going to make a move soon. They're going to get a deal for Bellinger at some point. People think they're out of the free agent market. I don't know if they are. I really don't know what's going on. I think every team is just chugging along. They're going to get Bellinger here. They're going to make a deal for him. I really don't see them whiffing on Bellinger for the second straight year. I really think they're going to go out and they're going to get a Bellinger deal done. For whatever reason, I just think they will. And that's it. I mean, once one domino falls, some will follow suit. Once Bellinger comes off the bulletin board, and look, the Cubs need to trade him, and they need to trade him soon. They want to get Jesus Luzardo. They're in the discussions for Luis Castillo from Seattle, and they actually match up well with Seattle. They got to get Bellinger done before that because no other team is going to be willing to take on as much money as the Yankees. And the Yankees should just take the money at this point. You're not going to be aggressive in free agency because you don't want to lose the draft picks, which I get. But you got to take money. You got to make this deal. All right, so everyone just thank you so much for the support and for coming on and watching Hot Stove. They have Rodon talking now, so I'm not going to do that. Give me a follow on Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, any other app at Yankees Content Central. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and please join the next stream. I don't know when that's going to be. I try and do streams when things drop if I'm available. Tomorrow, if something drops during the day, it'll probably be close to 6 like tonight because of my work schedule. But after Wednesday, pretty much for the exception of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, because I'm with family those days, I'm pretty much going to be able to do stuff at the drop of a hat. So thank you so much and have a great day, and let's hope we get something. Let's go Yankees.